It's November and soon Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon will be upon us. So I thought I wanted to put together a little video about Pokemon, but I wanted to do something a little different, a little special that I haven't really seen because everybody's going to be doing Pokemon videos around this time. So I figured why not think of something a little creative, kind of. Hopefully. So at first I was like, what if I can compare Pokemon types to weapons, like in video games? And it turned out not to be great. So then I thought maybe World of Warcraft classes, but I don't know a lot about World of Warcraft. So I decided on Pokemon and Final Fantasy. So basically, the idea is, what if Pokemon types were equal to some kind of class or job in Final Fantasy? So this should be fun, right? Right? Now I haven't played a whole lot of the games in Final Fantasy that have jobs, so most of these are going to be coming from Final Fantasy XIV, to be honest, with a little bit of Final Fantasy Tactics kind of thrown in there. And these are just my opinions as to how I associate Pokemon types in my brain. They aren't necessarily correct or statistically or competitively or what have you. Another thing I'd like to ask of you is if you have any differences in opinion as to what types might equal what jobs in Final Fantasy, go ahead and leave a comment and let me know what you think, because I'm just totally doing this for fun. I haven't put a lot of serious thought into it, so maybe you have better ideas than I would. So first off, we have normal type. Let's just get that out of the way. For normal type, I think that's going to be the Squire from Final Fantasy Tactics, mainly because the Squire is nothing. It's the first thing you start off as in the game, and you want to hurry up and level up and get out of that and become something better. Much like in Pokemon, where the first wild Pokemon that you find, a lot of the times are normal, and they're just kind of boring, and you want to hurry up and get to the better areas where the better Pokemon are. Next up, we're going to do a sort of a double type thing, and that's going to be Fire and Ice. They both go to Black Mage, particularly because the Black Mage in Final Fantasy XIV kind of alternates between Fire and Ice, so I thought it kind of made sense to put those two together. I could have also put Electricity in there, like Final Fantasy Tactics, and I think in Final Fantasy XIV you also have a little bit of electricity spells as a Black Mage. I don't remember, it's been a while. But I also don't want to give one job all these different types. I gotta share the love, gotta spread it around. Next up is the water types, which, believe it or not, I actually gave to Red Mage. The reason I gave it to Red Mage is because, well, at least according to Bulbapedia, water types are sort of the most balanced when it comes to the stats, like special attack and all that stuff. I guess, that's what it says in Bulbapedia. So with that, I'm giving it to the Red Mage, because the Red Mage is sort of the balanced mage, you know, with the difference with the black magic and the healing magic, but not great at everything, it's just kind of balanced. Next on my list, I gave Steel type to Warriors or Knights from Final Fantasy, mainly because I've always felt Steel is kind of a boring type, just in my opinion, and Knights are fun. They start off cool, you know, Warriors in Final Fantasy XIV start off cool, and then I feel like they kind of are just plain. I feel like it's like that in most RPGs, where Knights or Warriors are fun if you want to hit things with your sword or an axe, or use a shield or something, but at the same time you're like, well, can I do something cool like cast spells? So, you know, that's how I feel about Steel. Next, I gave flying types to the Bard from Final Fantasy XIV, because the Bard shoots arrows. The arrows go flying, so there's that. And also, the Bard sings, and birds sing. Yeah. Next, I gave poison types to Thieves, because compared to ninjas and assassins, thieves are kinda, and that's how I feel about poison-type Pokemon. They're always kinda, I mean, when you compare poison to, like, dark, which I gave to ninjas from Final Fantasy, I mean, what's cooler, Umbreon or Stunky? Fairy types I gave to the Scholar job from Final Fantasy XIV because, well, they have fairies. So yeah, there's that. Fighting, of course, goes to monks because, I mean, that's just sort of obvious. You know, monks, they fight, they hit things with their hands and their feet. So do fighting types. Do I need to go on? Dark, as I mentioned, was ninja because shadows and whatnot. Now, rock type I gave to paladins because, well, I mean, they're defensive types. They have heavy armor, they have shields. Rock-type Pokemon I've always associated with having a high defense, all from when you first fight Brock in the first Pokemon game, and if you try to use anything other than water or grass, you're pretty much going to be whittling away at their health because of their high defense. It all makes sense in here. Now for Psychic type, I gave Astrologian from Final Fantasy XIV. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Astrologian? Astro Boy. I mean, if anything, Psychic type is, in my opinion, kind of associated with more of a magic user, which is what the Astro Boys are. And then they use cards like a tarot card kind of looking thing, which I associate with Psychics. I'm sure many of you probably do too. So that's that. Now Ghosts, I made Dark Knights instead of Dark. You would think with the way this has been working so far that I would give Dark type to Dark Knight, but no. The reason I gave Ghost over to Dark Knight was because I sort of associate the fact that Ghost type Pokemon can't be hit by normal type and fighting type moves with the sort of defensive capabilities of Dark Knights. I've never actually played as a Dark Knight in Final Fantasy XIV, but I know that they're tanks, so that's the link that I was made there. And plus, Ghost is scary, Dark is dark, ooh, scary. Grass I gave to Chemist from Final Fantasy Tactics, mainly because Grass has spores and stuff, poison powder, whatnot, and I kind of associate that with Chemist. I know Chemist is more of like a healing type beginner magic class in Final Fantasy Tactics, but that's just the link that my mind made. I feel like I need to defend a lot of these, so my apologies in advance if I seem like I'm over defending. So for Bug type, I gave that to Onion Knight. Now the reason I gave Bug to Onion Knight is because mostly I don't like Bug type Pokemon, and Onion Knights are mostly crap. However, Onion Knights, once you get them up to max level or whatever, they're supposed to be super awesome. Again, I've never actually used an Onion Knight in any of the Final Fantasy games, but they're supposed to be super awesome once they reach max level. And with Bug type, they're mostly crap, but you do have Scyther and Scizor and that one new Pokemon from Sun and Moon, the electric one. I'll put a picture. I don't know the name. You know the one. For Electric, I gave Samurai. That one was sort of a loose connection, mainly because I don't know a lot about the Samurai class because it's new in the expansion, the latest expansion for Final Fantasy XIV, and I've never used it in Final Fantasy Tactics. So I don't know a lot about the Samurai, but I just sort of associated the high damage output of a Samurai with the damage that electric Pokemon can do, like Jolteon, because Jolteon's awesome and he's fast and he does a lot of damage. My screen went off. You're supposed to be my background. Next up we have Ground, which I gave to the Geomancer from Final Fantasy Tactics because, I mean, if you really need to know why, it's a Geomancer. They do like earth spells and stuff, manipulating the ground and whatnot. And lastly, we have Dragon with Dragoon, because they're pretty much just a letter apart. There's the extra O in Dragoon. They're very similar. Dragon, they're like Dragon Knights, and then there's Dragonite, hey! And also, Dragoon is my favorite job. Dragon types are my favorite type from Pokemon. There it is! Mystery solved. Pokemon Final Fantasy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you have any opinion, maybe you want to tell me how wrong I was or how right you were, or if you have other thoughts for what might be a better job to go with a Pokemon class, you let me know. I want to hear from you. So that's gonna just about do it for me today, because I got things to do, and I'm running out of stuff to say, and goodbye. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more, feel free to check out one of these other videos you see here on the screen, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You can also follow me by looking up The Portly Gamer on the social networks below.